Hi there. So today we're going to talk about how to manage our relationships during this really unusual time that we are dealing with. Relationships in general can be challenging, and in typical, normal, expected times of life, they can be challenging and wrought with tensions and uncertainties and confusions and mixed up communications and a whole host of different points of frustrations and difficulties. So add in to the mix, the world as we once knew it has been completely turned upside down and sideways, and everything that we at one time relied upon or could settle into outside of our relationship, everything we could rest in and plan for or find sort of some sense of security in has now been pretty much upended. So taking that into consideration, there's a lot of people, regardless of being in a relationship or not, who are having a hard time. We know that. But sharing the same walls with either significant other, relatives, roommates, children, you name it, relationships are really being tested now, tested in a lot of ways. So I just wanted to review some of the facts and tips and tricks that I've been trying to work on with some of my clients now as they're trying to cope during this time. So first and foremost, it's important to remember what we're all trying to cope with and contend with to the best of our abilities. And living in this period of uncertainty and, things are changing so rapidly at times, watching the path that this has taken from when news first broke and things started to change and we had to begin to alter our lifestyle, the rush of trying to take care of that and tend to that and what that actually meant for us to then, realizing that we have to settle into this being at home and the limit that has on our freedoms, our ability to move freely. And for the most part, there's been a lot that's been required of us. So it's really important to remember that and to give the benefit of the doubt and cut each other some slack that, whatever you might be experiencing from the others in your life as difficult, such as maybe there's a heightened degree of short-temperedness or curt responses or aggression or sadness or depression or anxiety. All of these feelings are understandable given that everybody's sense of normal has been upended and our bodies physiologically are processing this, whether we're cognitively talking it through or not. It's the reality of the world is impacting our bodies on a physiological level. And that will have its way of showing up. It can show up in disturbed sleep. Again, it can show up in heightened anxiety, irritability. Maybe people who at one time seemed more calm and capable seem to be breaking down more so, or, there's just maybe a lot more short fuses right now. So now more than ever, we really need to be mindful of that and what it means to maybe not over-personalize certain interactions. Granted, every situation is different. Again, I'm just speaking in a very general way about the sort of trends and trends of the difficulties we're seeing. So it's important to remember that. Also, it's important that to be mindful of what you might expect from the others in your life. And what you feel you need from them that they may or may not be able to provide you with, they might be seeking the same thing from you. What I mean is if you're seeking some sort of comfort or sense of safety, security, some soothing behaviors or communications, and if it's hard for them to provide that for you, it's possible that they may be seeking the very same thing from you. So sometimes I suggest to my clients, and something I'm mindful of myself, is try to be the person that you wish you could be for the other to the best of your ability. Granted, sometimes we just hit against our limitations and what we have within us, our bandwidth might be so stretched that we just don't have a certain capacity to give at a certain point in time. You can say that, we can speak about what our limitations are, talking about what we expect from one another, what we feel we can or can't give in a really sort of open and compassionate way, not in a fault-finding or accusatory way, but just understanding against this backdrop of things are, really, bizarrely uncertain and difficult and challenging, and we're trying to do our best to make sense of that. Something else that I've been working on with my clients is actually, now that the sense of COVID-19 and coronavirus seems to be pervading many, if not all, aspects of our lives, I said, why not take the word COVID? I was playing with the letters and just use it as an acronym to help provide a map of how to apply openness and gentleness and compassionate inquiry and receptivity when it's at the times when it's most hard to provide that to one another. So taking COVID as an acronym, as a point to remember to practice with one another, starting with the letter C. Whenever you find yourself going into a tense interaction with, again, this can be applied with your partner, this could be applied with a roommate, a child even, yourself even, relatives. See if you can mindfully and calmly cut it out. Just the very act of catching yourself in a pattern of response and reactivity. Oftentimes in relationships, we find ourselves developing habitual patterns. Some habitual patterns work and are productive, and some are not so helpful or healthy or productive for all of us getting our needs met. So if you find yourself going down the path of a communication pattern that is wrought or tense or angry, just note it, cut it out. So C is for calmly cut it out. I'm not going to do this right now. This is what I normally do. I need to stop. We need to stop. This is not helpful for us. Just stop, pause, cut it out. O is next. Observe what's happening to the best of your ability. Observe what's happening physiologically, how you're using your body, your tone of voice, your facial gestures and expressions, how you're using your arms, your hands, how you're feeling inside. Notice if how you're using yourself, if what you're communicating and how you're communicating actually matches what the base feeling is. Just simply observe. So C, cut it out. O, observe. That's it. Just observe and take note. V is validate, stands for validate. Validate what's there for you. I'm acting really loud and short, but I'm really scared and anxious. Okay, this is what's here. I can validate that. I'm feeling scared and anxious right now. I'm worried. Validate within the other, You're yelling at me, but it seems like you're most worried right now. Whatever it is, just as an example, you seem scared. You seem like you've had enough. Just validate means to see what is without adding anything extra. It's not a time to judge. It's not a time to dismiss. It's not a time to debate whether it's true or not. It's not a time to disagree with. It's just a time to recognize. Validate means I see. I see you as existing. I see this feeling as real right now. Validate also isn't the same as I'm sorry you're feeling hurt, but anytime you add a but, it just erodes whatever you had to say before that. So just simply acknowledge what's there. Cut it out, observe, validate. I stands for inquiry, investigate. Inquiry and investigate with compassion. Gentle inquiry. Just, it's trying to make an effort to understand more so what's there. Once you validate it, the next place to go is, I want to learn more about that. Now, if you're in an argument with someone and you feel like they're the source of your pain, you might be less inclined to want to know why they are acting as such, or why they're, what their reaction is about. But that's the practice. It's learning how to create that space for what's happening for me, what's happening for you, and really looking at how dynamics are co-created. It comes from the gentle inquiry, not assumption making. Again, not opinion forming, not judgment forming. It's simply observing, validating, and inquiring. What is that like for you? What is it like for you to get so mad and scream so loud when you're really feeling anxious? Just being curious about it. And the next letter, D, stands for dare to do something different. Actually, this whole practice is about daring to do something different. It's about trying to approach a pattern with awareness, with sensitivity, with the intention of trying to redirect it to go down a path that can be more beneficial for everybody involved. So here's an opportunity to use COVID to our benefit, to help bring some more awareness and hopefully some more satisfaction to our relationships, and to offer us a path of learning and growth. Because, you know, these are the times where we, again, are most tested, where we're going to feel tried, we're going to feel pushed up against the wall. You know, the hard times in life, they can bring out the best in people and they can bring out the worst in people. And it's really about understanding how that is so for each and every one of us, including ourselves. Okay? So be well. Again, it's a practice. It's not a switch that you flip on and all of a sudden things are cured. That's not what this is meant for. It's just a map and a practice to provide you for some more tools, with some more tools to help work on yourself and your relationships during these trying times. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email us, info@babatherapygroup.com, or reach out, give us a call, 646-389-5801. Okay, thank you so much. Be well. Take good care and move gently, move slowly, move compassionately with yourselves and one another. Thank you.